What's good, Blessed Up Podcast? Welcome back to Childless. It's your boy Jared. Y'all, today we're going to be looking at a review from Anton Daniels. Now, I just want to let key you guys in on one thing. And that's that when I post my videos, I do it out of fair use. So if any of you new subscribers, new people coming in, if y'all have a problem with what I'm saying and how I'm doing my content, please do me a favor and kick rocks, because honestly, I do my content out of fair use. I don't steal. I try to use as little amount of content as I can and interrupt intermittently as much as I can, so it doesn't look like I'm just reposting. But today we're gonna be looking at a review from Anton, and I want you to hear what this lady, this woman says why men should date single mothers.
A certain man that wants to run everything, it's going to be difficult having two lions in the family, because a man like Anton is going to show up as the man. I'm doing this. I'm handling this. This is my village. To have another man that has come in and have any type of say so at all, I can see how that could be difficult.
But we gotta prioritize.
We gotta think about it. I want women to understand this. Just because a man has a penis, don't make him a man. He could be a male. There's not a lot. Most men aren't lying. Let's make sure that's understood.
Okay.
Right? So some men can raise another man's child because the real father ain't a lion. He's more like a gazelle. You know what I'm saying? The lion is now here, and I believe. Well, I believe in God, and I believe in everything is a reason, right?
Right.
And like my dad is a bitch ass nigga. My step pops, he ain't playing. You feel me? So like, I was already one that wasn't playing coming out the woodworks.
Yeah.
So then, if my dad was there, hypothetically, I would probably clash with him because he was already soft. You know.
Okay, so let me speak to this subject matter, because I don't know my real father. So I'm going to just let that be known. I don't know my real father, so I had a stepdad. But the thing is, what he's talking about is something that needs to seriously be addressed. Now, there are men, he's right when he's saying that all men aren't men. There's soft men and there's strong men. We understand that. That's clear cut. That's we know that. There's also men that aren't fathers. But my question is this: why is it that every man must be looked at in this way? Now, I'm gonna rewind it, because that's something he said that I wanted to let him finish.
Child, because the real father ain't a lion. He's more like a gazelle. You know what I'm saying? The lion is now here, and I believe. Well, I believe in God, and I believe in everything is a reason, right?
Right.
And like my dad is a bitch ass nigga. My step pops, he ain't playing. You feel me? So like, I was already one that wasn't playing coming out the woodworks.
Yeah.
So then, if my dad was there, hypothetically, I would probably clash with him because he was already soft. You know what I'm saying? And I don't believe that just because you gave birth to something means that you are the best one to raise that.
Come on, let's talk about
that person that you gave birth to. Whether you're
And that also comes to the fact that a lot of women have bad judgment when it comes to picking men. Because let's face it, I didn't grow up with my father, but I had a male role model. But the problem comes in when a lot of these women choose to get pregnant by these men that they know aren't good men in the first place. They choose to do that. They choose to get pregnant.
man or woman.
So you believe nurture versus nature?
Yes.
Because nurturing that child is more important than possibly more important than nature.
I believe that nature.
Absolutely.
See, here's the thing: we get
It's
so
crazy.
confused about nature as if you are the only one of this child. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 generations of nature within this child that you ain't exuding yet. You remember the Punnett Square? In the Punnett Square, you had a 1 in 4 chance of being something.
Yes.
Right? So this child could have the bottom right quadrant and you might have top left.
Yeah.
You ain't fit to to raise that child, to be honest. So maybe somebody else who is in that bottom right quadrant is going to be able to understand that man or that young woman or that young boy and really help them grow into what they need to be.
So you would advise your son to get with a woman that already have children.
If that
Children,
no, you would be okay with that?
Children,
remove yourself out.
I don't think nobody advises those scenarios for their
But see,
children,
the
right?
problem is that
But sometimes it just
start saying men
happens
ain't
because
men.
they just might be in love. You can't control
You
who
can,
love.
because marriage is a business first. It's a business
To
first.
some.
We know statistics of what it is when men are where children are raised in certain type of household. We know what the statistics are, right? And so I'm not going to sit here and say a man isn't a man based off of some criteria that we make up, right? Because I use data. The reality is this: what we are doing is excusing bad behavior, and it's
I want to go back to something that Anton just said.
what the statistics are, right? And so I'm not going to sit here and say a man isn't a man based off of some criteria that we make up, right? Because I use data. The reality is this: what we are doing is excusing bad behavior. And instead of us going to the mothers and say, hey, why are you not accountable for who it is that you decided to open up your legs to?
bullshit.
Because we ain't having that conversation. The only thing we saying is, oh, that's a bitch ass nigga. But you opened up your legs to him. He wasn't a bitch ass nigga when you had sex
He
with
might
him.
have been.
When you
Okay, so this fact alone is something that's troubling me. We're always, like I said before, we're always putting onus on the men from not being the man when they have children. But we never look at the woman. We always point the fingers at the man. We never point the fingers at the woman, because there's certain things that women know and see. Let's fucking face it. Stop the cap. Stop bullshitting around. We all know it. A lot of women see bad things in a lot of men, and they excuse those red flags just because that man has money, that man has a nice shape to him, or that man has good game. We all know this happens every day on a daily basis. So many women have kids by these men, and then after these women had these kids, and after they have that fucking epiphany, then they want to come out and say, oh, I want to find a good man, and they are bringing nothing to the table but some tarnished ass coochie, and a bunch of bastard kids. We all know it. We all see it. I don't think a man should be, in today's day and age, I do not believe that men should be stepfathers. And that's going to be a straight, cut, dry delivery. I do not believe any men should be a stepfather in the near future or today's climate at all. Because there's a lot of women that are very selfish, and a lot of women that don't understand what the French toast they doing in life. And then they continue to doggone blame men for their fuck ups. And then also, they never learn from their mistakes. They keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again and expecting a fucking different result. That's the definition of insanity. And then they continuously blame the men when in fact it's them. If you are constantly having the same issue, the same problem, the same result, the problem is you too much of a dumbass to gonna try to figure out something else. But no, we always constantly trying to throw the hand at what men need to do instead of throwing the hand or pointing the finger back at the women saying, you fucked up, this is what you keep doing, and yet you trying to blame us for it. No, time out for that shit.
look, but my point is
if
when we continue to do this, we validate bad behavior.
What is the bad behavior?
Because you're saying that you can recover from this.
She knows what the bad behavior is. If you keep getting pregnant by the same nigga, same type of niggas, you the problem. You keep choosing that man. You have a lapse in judgment. You don't have good judgment, period. If you can't choose a good child father and you keep running to the same type of men that don't want to take care of their kids, that don't want to be in a child's life, and you keep running into that same type of man, you are the fucking problem because you have a lapse in judgment and you don't make good decisions.
When in reality, we know statistically that child has a much greater chance of going to jail, a much greater chance of needing therapy, a much greater chance of joining a gang. He has a much greater chance of being less successful. And instead of us saying, hey, hold that accountable so that this don't happen in the next generation.
I think I'm missing context.
No.
If what?
I'm gonna say this. Anton's right about that because I have a similar problem too. I had a similar problem when I was younger. Before my mom met my stepfather, I already knew I was on the bad path because I was getting in trouble a lot. I was doing a lot of stupid shit. I've never been arrested. I've never went to jail. I've never done anything that got me arrested or a record. So I got a clean record. I got all that stuff. But the thing is, my mom kept me in the house a lot too, so I wouldn't get into trouble. But I was on a bad path due to the fact that I didn't have a masculine male role model in the house. I didn't have a male role model in the house that would teach me right from wrong. And then when my stepfather came in, there was some dumb shit I did, and he whooped me for it, and I got in my feelings, and I go crying to my mom. And now that me being a man, now that me being older, I'm seeing a lot of shit that I was fucking up, and he kept me from making mistakes. So he guided me in the right direction. I'm saying that about my stepfather. Now me and him have a better relationship. He understands me, I understand him, and we're cool. We cool, and I also have men that I work around and work with at work, and I've had men in the past that taught me life lessons too. Thing is, a lot of these boys don't have that because these moms don't keep good men around them. Boy, help us.
If that's,
he has a much greater chance of doing all that.
To say it's a guy's responsibility to raise this child based off of a village concept or a community concept, or because he's a real man, removes the accountability from the woman of actually making sure that she picked the right guy.
I'm gonna ask a question about that whole real man argument. A real man would do this. A real man will raise another man's child. My question to the ladies is this. If you're saying that a real man would raise another man's child, my question to you is to shoot right back over your bow and say this: Isn't being a real woman being able to choose the right man to be the father of your child instead of getting pregnant by every man? Isn't a real woman about making good decisions and finding a husband before you fucking carry another man's child and expecting a man to come in and take care of your child? If we want to sit here and doggone do that whole argument of a real man would do this, but wouldn't a real woman have the ability to be able to choose better and not get pregnant by the man that ain't worth a damn because he gave her the tingles? Isn't that a real woman? But oh wait, we don't want to have that conversation because women know down to everything. Women know that their decision making is flawed, and then they try to spin the block and say, "Oh, a real man will do this." Well, ma'am, sorry to tell you this. You wouldn't know a real man if he fucking slapped you in the face with his dick.
And to marry before she carried in the first place.
So what happened?
I married before I carried, and then
I
got a divorce.
But that's not the norm.
Can I speak
because
on
what
that?
I see on Instagram
Because I have a
and social media
stepfather.
is people
I'm trying to
saying,
figure out what we talking about.
what I see on
It's a
Instagram
lot.
and social media is
I'm
when
lost
a
a
woman get pregnant, regardless of whether she married, it's congratulations, sis.
Okay.
That's what I see.
I
Okay.
agree. Listen,
Should we
we're
throw
not
stones at her?
Absolutely.
Antoine, shut up. You do not
I
think
believe
that.
in
You said that
100%.
congratulating a woman, but if you want to throw accountability at anybody, throw it at the man that left
It's
the
a
family.
small
unit.
minority.
No, because even in her own thing, she married before she carried, and she got pregnant. Well, she married before she carried, and then she got a divorce. Now, my question is this: why did she get a divorce? Because I bet you one thing, seeing as how her attitude is, I bet you it was over some bullshit. I can guarantee you it was on some bullshit. So she defeated her own argument, and then also, let me rewind it back a little bit.
Sis.
Okay.
That's what I see.
I
Okay.
agree. Listen,
Should we
we're
throw
not
stones at her?
Absolutely. I believe
Antoine,
in-
shut up. You do not
I
do that.
believe in
You said that.
shaming.
You said that.
And the fact that the host is laughing about this shit, about bringing shame back, that's insane. My thing is this. As a people, we need shame. Because shame brings about character and morality. Without shame, you don't have good moral, good judgment, and good morality. That's the problem. A lot of these women out here, they don't see the reason why things worked back then is because we had shame. If a woman was a single mother back then, she was shamed, and she was ashamed to have had a child outside of wedlock. And when a man came in, she was grateful. These women nowadays are spoiled like a motherfucker and think they deserve everything under the fucking sun, even that being a single mom. So that's the problem. Bring shame back. Fuck all your damn feelings.
100%.
Congratulating a woman, but if you want to throw accountability at anybody, throw it at the man that left
It's
the
a
family.
small
unit,
minority.
right?
It's a small percentage of men that's having the majority of the children. Most black men are not having children out of wedlock. That is a falsehood. And so when we sit here, when we want to solve for a problem, we solve for the majority, not the minority. And when you look at the statistics, most black men are not having children out of wedlock. It's a small minority of men that's having the majority of the children with a whole lot of women. That's
And
the
is
reality.
that you got that from a
how do a
.org or
man
a
not, how do a woman have a child without a wedlock without the man too?
What I'm saying is, if
I'm rewinding back because this nigga sounds slow as hell.
children with a whole lot of women. That's
And
the
is
reality.
that you got that from a .org or a
how do a woman have a child without a wedlock without the man too?
Bro, you sound dumb as shit.
How do a woman have a child without a wedlock without the man too?
How does a woman have a child out of wedlock without the man too? If they're not married, that's out of wedlock, bro. Come on, man. You can't be this. You can't be like this, bro. If they are not bounded by a marriage covenant, that is out of wedlock. What are you talking about? What do you think wedlock means? Bounded by God, bounded under the guise of a marriage. That is wedlock. What the... Jesus Christ. I am fucking 25 and I'm explaining this to a damn almost 40-year-old man. What the hell?
What I'm saying is, if we got 99% of the men, and we said we're gonna hold all of them accountable.
No, I'm saying like if the woman had the child that will, like she ain't have it by herself.
I'm explaining.
So did he.
If we got 99% of men to do the right thing, it takes 1% of men to populate the majority of the women.
True indeed.
So even if you hold all men accountable, it doesn't solve for the problem.
No, it's not about all men. It's about holding everybody accountable.
We do, but men by default are automatically held accountable.
Let me go back to this stepdad situation real fast because I have a stepfather, right?
How he gonna just skip over what Anton just said? Because that was a hard hitter right there.
Even if you hold all men accountable, it doesn't solve for the problem.
No, it's not about all men. It's about holding everybody accountable.
That's all men, you dumbass.
Do, but men by default are automatically held accountable.
Let me go back to the...
So how you gonna just damn skip over what he just said? All men are held accountable. Look at what these women just said on this panel here alone. They're trying to hold men accountable, and most black men don't even have children.
This stepdad situation real fast because I have a stepfather, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't raise me. My grandfather raised me, right? So
that's a lie because your stepfather was probably in the household with you. So technically, in a sense, your stepfather did raise you.
I didn't personalize my stepfather because that's who my mom is married to.
Yeah, that's who your mom chose.
That's her.
Like I said, he still instilled things inside of you without you realizing it.
Her relationship, I have examples around me that I don't have to look towards him. His only job, honestly, for me, is just to be example of a good person, a human being, period. Right. I don't need him to be my father. I don't even need for none of that shit. Right? It's just...
But the thing is, what you don't realize is the things that you saw over a period of time living with that man. You saw an example of what a man's supposed to be, what masculinity was supposed to be. So technically, in a sense, although you don't recognize it as him raising you, he still instill guidance into you, and you didn't realize it. You saw certain things, how he carried himself, how he worked, how he acted as a man, how he took care of your mom. So in a sense, technically, he instilled guidance inside of you, and it helped you understand yourself as a man.
It's simply just be a good dude, treat my mom good, and I mean, honestly, I don't care what y'all going through. Y'all not being physical.
How
That's
old were you
fine.
when he came into your life?
I was in middle school, so that's what, like,
You was
12?
already big.
Well, I was big because I
You
was
didn't
probably
need-
I'm 6'5", bro. I've been big.
No, I'm saying you were older as a kid. You
No,
had already
Middle
had whatever
schooler?
it was in you.
No, what I'm saying is,
Now wait,
Fucking
now
middle
I know. Listen, now
What's
I know.
happening here?
Okay,
Well, I mean,
so
because 11 years old is middle
all right,
school.
cool. All right, let's reset.
Mhm.
All right. So one of the facts that you gave is in regards to children that statistically messing up more so. That usually comes from a single mother household, correct?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So if we take the conversation to it being a two-parent,
single mother household. So when I say two-parent household, I'm saying married,
okay,
having children,
So
raising those children.
cool. So let's take it to a two-parent household where one parent is a step parent.
Mhm.
That's still a two-parent household, right?
Yeah, but it's not the same.
You don't think so?
And I personally, again, I would never advise a guy, if this guy is single, he's taking care of business, he don't have no children or nothing like that. I'm not gonna sit here in good conscience and tell this man that he's supposed to get with a single mother.
Let me rewind it back a little bit, because there was something that was said that I wanted to let Anton finish before I actually interrupted. Let's do this.
Children,
So
raising those children.
Cool. So let's take it to a two-parent household where one parent is a step parent.
Mhm.
That's still a two-parent household, right?
Yeah, but it's not the same.
Anton's right. It's not the same, and let me explain to you why. As a child, there's nothing like blood. And let me explain what I mean by that. As a man, as a child, your biological father is where you come from. You understand what your biological father is trying to tell you. He's trying to guide you in the right way. Now you have a man coming in that's not your biological father. You don't know this man from a can of paint, and over time, he's teaching you. But then in the back of your mind, you still have that void of, what would my biological father have done? So you have a void. Right there. You don't understand what your biological father would have done. I know I'm explaining it weird, but it's that kind of dynamic. Like my biological father's telling me this. So he's telling me this. Now you have a non-biological father figure in your household, and them telling you something you don't necessarily know what can go on. But let's continue.
You don't think so?
And I personally, again, I would never advise a guy, if this guy is single, he's taking care of business, he don't have no children or nothing like that. I'm not gonna sit here in good conscience and tell this man that he's supposed to get with a single mother. Absolutely not.
And that's
100%.
Cool. But there's so many single fathers that get with single mothers. So many single fathers.
So we just
I think
speaking
y'all should have
about
preferences.
are we just speaking about the men who don't have children? Is that the reference? Or are you saying just all men?
Because I
even if they
understand the
come
men
in
that
with
doesn't have children, but there's so many single fathers that look towards.
I mean,
Like I
yeah,
said, the majority
we
of
also
men
have to be
don't have
realistic
children out of
here.
wedlock.
Okay, where are you living? Right, we're living in America, and 1 out of every 4 kids are born with a single parent.
Yeah.
Or raised with a single parent.
Mhm.
Right, and the rest of the world, it's at an 8%. So we're about 3 to 4 times more likely to have a child be raised out of wedlock or with only one parent. Right. So when you look at the numerics, you're more likely than not to run. If you're a guy who doesn't have any kids, you're more likely than not, depending on your age, to run into a woman that has a kid.
Mhm.
Right.
You're right, but the thing is, why is it that it's always help a single mother out Why is it always that shit instead of telling these men, if you doing well by yourself, you don't have any kids, you've kept your urges under control. Why is it that we're always being told, date a single mom, help her out, raise her children, and be a stepdad, when we all know that being a stepfather is a thankless job? That kid's gonna always have some sort of aggression towards you, or that kid's not gonna listen to you to the fullest extent. So it's like being told by men. It's like being told to basically be secondary or tertiary to a woman because of her children, which her children should come first. But the thing is, this man has built his life up to be something, and this woman's slept around because, like you said, in America, she slept around, and now you're basically telling these men to date a single mom because she needs help. Man, fuck all that.
Right? So I don't think we're advising anybody. Hey, I advise you to go find a woman that has a kid with another man.
Yeah.
No, but what I'm saying is that the offer's not on the table, depending on her behavior. Now, if she has 3, 4, 5 baby fathers, I would never advise that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry to those women. But if you have one man, you had one man, and now you have one child with that man.
He said sorry to those women. No, if those women chose to have 4 or 5 kids by multiple different men, that's on her. It's not a I'm sorry to those women. No, it's a you fucked up, and now you trying to have somebody come in and fix your fucking mess. And men aren't having it nowadays.
And maybe even 2, and that's something that you want to tie up your boots and walk in the path you want to walk down.
That's crazy.
I would say go ahead.
But that's why I brought up single fathers,
That's
because when you see a
crazy.
woman that is a single mother,
Yeah.
that child has a father,
Yeah.
right? Who's a single father?
That's insane.
Like, are we not putting those two to the...
You know what? I'm gonna just say this. To keep it clear and to keep it simple. Stop fucking having kids outside of wedlock and fucking wrap up. How about that? Wrap up your fucking damn salami. Stop getting these chicks pregnant and do it like that. That's all I'm gonna say about it. Because we always want to put the onus on what the men are doing, but we never want to put the onus on what the women are doing. Simply stop fucking having kids outside of wedlock. Stop doing all of this crazy shit and getting these women pregnant. Simple as that. That'll solve hopefully most of this bullshit. But the way that this is going, I doubt it's gonna solve anything. But anyways, guys, like, share, subscribe, channel, support the podcast, and support.com. I will see you guys on the flip side. Thank you guys for listening. Bye, guys.